Pre-Pop-Tart yoga pose.
Pre-Pop-Tart yoga pose. Okay, we could start a whole new, like, we could do TikTok.
No, please. Pop-Tarts on TikTok. Oh, it could be a thing.
I'm thinking more like yoga moo-moos, though.
No, yeah, no.
Okay, to pull this out of, like, the absurdity, good morning, everybody.
Hi!
It is Friday, of course, so it's time for Friday
Crumbs from the Pop-Tarts.
And today is Friday, October the 15th.
It
We're
is.
recording for October the 15th.
We are.
Which is actually tomorrow, so we had to giddy up and go.
So
Here we are. And we wanted to just say good morning to everybody.
Hey.
Or good afternoon or evening, whenever it is that you're watching this. It could be in the middle of the night and you can't sleep and you need something to lull you off to sleep.
I don't think I've lulled anybody
us.
It's like, ever. Not with my voice. Anyway,
so
Scripture.
We're looking at the Gospel of Matthew today for our scripture, chapter 11, verses 1 to 6. It's really short, but it was the Gospel reading for today out of the lectionary. So
we'll have a look at it.
Yeah, do you want to?
Sure, I'll read it. Think of this as kind of a review of all that Jesus does and has been doing. So chapter 11, verse 1. Now when Jesus had finished instructing his 12 disciples, he went on from there to teach and proclaim his message in their cities. When John heard in prison what the Messiah was doing, he sent word by his disciples and said to him, "Are you the one who is to come, or are we to wait for another?" Jesus answered them, "Go and tell John what you hear and see. The blind receive their sight, the lame walk, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the poor have good news brought to them. And blessed is anyone who takes no offense at me." This is the gospel of Christ.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. You know,
Jesus is a sneaky dude.
Jesus is a sneaky dude, but what I'm really struck by is how the tone of chapter 11 is so different than chapter 10.
Okay, how?
Right? So chapter 10 is all about where Jesus is really proclaiming his authority, right? There's all kinds of teaching going on. There's miracles going on. It's like the era of popularity.
Oh.
And now, as we
Rockstar.
came to the end of chapter 10, we are seeing the powers that be, the leaders are
Pharisees.
becoming more and more distressed and mistrusting and worried about their own seat of power, trying to figure out who this Jesus dude is, and so the tides are turning.
Right.
And so what we have here now is, okay, so John the Baptist, he's in prison, right? Because Herod I always want to say Antipasta, but it's not, it's Herod Antipas.
Antipasta was something we eat.
I know.
Okay, with olives, right?
So Herod Antipas is the ruler who put John in prison, of course, because John was telling him, no, you're not really supposed to marry your brother's wife. And so we know what happens to John the Baptist.
Yeah.
And
you portrayed him once.
I did for Halloween. But the platter wasn't over here. I put the platter around my neck, so I took one of those cookie platters, you know, the aluminium ones, and I cut into it, and I lined it though with red felt, because it'll cut your jugular. And and then I put red goop all over it.
Okay.
And then I went out and I was raising awareness for the food bank.
Okay.
And gathering cans of dry goods.
Okay.
And I was John the Baptist
with her head on a platter.
His head on a platter for Halloween.
Right.
And it was so cute though, because I was going down the streets with a shopping cart for all of this stuff. And this one little kid says, "Mom, look at her. She's got a shopping basket. All I've got is this little bag."
No awareness of who you were.
No.
Didn't care, but the fact that you had a shopping basket to go to get your Halloween
That's right.
stuff.
But if he'd been a little bit more aware, he would have seen that it was full of canned goods, not candy.
Yeah, not the point.
right? But it was fun. It was fun. And people would look at me like, you'd open the door. And I'd have to say, can you guess who I am? I'm John the Baptist. And then I'd lift my thing up a little bit so they could see my collar, just so they would know I'm not some totally crazy, insane person.
There are times for evangelism everywhere and every time and
Absolutely.
every how. See, I think that's right. And
But you're taking me totally off track.
I know, isn't it awesome? I love doing that. But this is John the Baptist. Oh, this is Jesus actually saying, he never says yes when John asks the question. He never says, oh yes, that is me. I am the Messiah.
No,
I am
but
the
I
coming
think
one.
what he was, it's funny. So there's a couple of different schools of thoughts on this, right? So is John asking because he's like at this point of his own faith in who Jesus was as Messiah was wobbling a little bit?
Oh.
Because it's like, okay, like I'm here in jail. I know what happens to people in jail here. Okay, so you're the Messiah. I've told everybody about you. Do you want to work your magic and your
Jeez,
power
I never
and
thought
your
of that
Messiah stuff and get me out of jail?
Never thought of that.
Or was he really rock solid in that, but asking the question so that his followers would then go and ask the question so that Jesus could say to them, look and see what's happening, right? Let the proof of what I'm doing here answer that question.
See, and that's where I'm going, because he says, because it's also, there's been question as to who were John's disciples, because he said in verse 2, he sent word by his disciples. Yeah. So John had his own followers. There were his own followers of Jesus, so they're all getting together now. And so are you the one who is to come, or are we to wait for another? That to me is pretty clear.
Well, but that's a really valid question too, because every ruler that would be come through would be called Messiah, right? So the question is, so are you like, the earthly Messiah, the king, or like, is there somebody with a little more, power coming behind you? And I think Jesus's question was, his answer was brilliant in the sense that he was reminding the followers of John to not lose heart, that his power came from a base of humility and servanthood and servitude rather than powerful political
He wasn't doing
sway.
it for his own gain.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and again, it's turning the world upside down in the way that we look at that. And it's kind of cool because this Sunday, we're actually talking a little bit about how to be servants. Right. How to really take on that mantle of discipleship. But I'm not going to spoil Sunday's readings for you because they're kind of exciting in a funny kind of way.
But then, we look at this passage. Why do I care today? What?
Well, I think, when we're looking at how many of us have felt like imprisoned, where
COVID.
Our expectations have it hasn't turned out the way we wanted. So we had this expectation of some kind of salvation or some kind of something wonderful happening, and it seems to have gone sideways. And Jesus is saying to John and his disciples, okay, looks like it's going sideways here, and probably it's going to go even more sideways before the end of it for you and for me. But here's that thing about divine vision against our earthly vision. Right. Let's look beyond what our eyes are telling us is reality to what my promise was. Right. I promised, right? Prophecies in the Old Testament were that the blind would see and the lame would walk. And that's what's being happening. Reminded. So again, it's more about, remember what I said? It's more about the tongue in our shoes than the tongue in our mouths. I still love that line. It's what's happening and unfolding in front of us. Right?
And I think taking that to today, I just watched, you're seeing this on Friday, but watched the Leaf game on Tuesday night, Wednesday night, whatever day. And
that's hockey, right?
Yeah, that's hockey. One of us has to be in tune with
well, because it's football season too, right?
Yeah, and basketball and baseball's on.
That's the Blue Jays.
Yeah. See? She's learning. I love it. But we were just commenting on how there's a sense of joy and freedom with people now going. The Winterhawks, which will be on tonight, the Saugeen Shores Winterhawks are playing their first home game in the Plex in 2 years. And there is joy and excitement of people being able to go and gather together in community, being as safe as they want. Now, I just watching the TV last night and
oh, we're gonna wade into this, are we?
We are
Okay.
gonna wade into this. No, not into that, but into something else. But okay, if I had asked you 2 years ago to go to an event and wear a mask, you probably would have gone, ew, why am I doing that? I don't need to do that. I'm fine. But last night on the television with however many thousand, some weren't wearing masks, but some were.
I thought they all had to wear masks inside.
No, because they're all double vaxxed.
Oh, okay.
So that's it. And you got in and you got this funky wristband and the whole thing. But I know I love the wristband.
It's like designated driver.
Pretty much. And
so
it lit
double
up and
vaxxed.
it did things. But the stigma or the weirdness of wearing a mask at a big event is now gone.
Yeah.
Because you're looking out for yourself. And it's your choice to wear a mask if you want.
And you're looking out for somebody else too.
You are. Everybody else
Right?
that
This
you
is a
come
big piece.
close to. And I think that's something that we see a shifting norm. I'm wondering if there was a shifting norm going on then too.
Well, there had to be, right?
Right.
I mean, in some ways there had to be because
Yeah.
everything was being turned upside down.
Right.
People are expecting this Messiah. There's this huge popularity. It's like, okay, any day now,
Yep.
any day now, he's gonna just.
Didn't we feel the same way with the vaccine?
Absolutely.
Right? We heard about
It was
the vaccine.
gonna
It's gonna come.
smite the disease.
It's gonna be great. We're all gonna get it. And then
We're still wearing masks.
Right.
And we still can't sing in church yet, but it's coming.
See, she brought it up. I didn't.
But
Her
it's
fault.
coming.
We were talking about it. But I think, yeah, so there's a complete culture shift. But how many times has that happened? Now I think of my mother. Hi, Mom. She's 95. Yeah, I'm sorry, I told your age. But there's a couple, I know, I'm in trouble. But there's a couple of generations there. Like, she went through depression and the war. She didn't go through Spanish flu, but there were shifts in everything that went on through that generation. And our generation, I mean, I can think of health-wise, we had SARS, Norwalk virus, H1N1, which were all viruses, and now COVID. So we've had things where we've had to protect ourselves from society and be reminded of what's important. And sometimes we're blamed of being a selfish society. We look after number one first. And then I think, yeah, but sometimes we have to. But it's okay to look after number one, but you're also looking after number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, especially by wearing a mask or following the rules, whatever that is.
It's like being on an airplane. What do they say when the masks come down?
Yep.
What do you have to do?
Yep.
If you are there with somebody that you are caring for, you put your mask on first, so that you can then get the airflow you need to help whoever it is that you're called to help. So, as Christians, what is our air mask? Well, I think part of it is scripture, right? It's coming back to the well of knowledge and of story and of teaching. And it's not just about reading scripture, it's about reading it and then allowing it to go from our, so here I am with my liminal, my in-between spaces again, right? We take it from our eyes into our brains. It moves from our brains then into our hearts, right? We allow God to work in those in-between places because then we invite God into that and say, okay, lift up for me what it is that needs to be lifted up today. That's what we tried to do on Friday, actually. As silly as we sometimes are, as irreverent as sometimes we are.
But we're wearing collars today, so we're not going to be that bad.
Okay, so that was a disclaimer that we forgot that at the beginning when we were talking about yoga and TikTok, if that doesn't get cut out.
Oh my
But you know
goodness, never mind.
We are all given particular gifts. And those gifts they come out in all kinds of weird and wonderful and wacky ways, but they're all gifts that are given to glorify God.
That's right.
And so we take what we need so that we can share, because everything that we have has been given to us as gift, and we're called to witness to that gift by sharing it.
And that's what Jesus was doing.
Absolutely.
Oh, look at that. We
Very
actually
good.
came full circle.
And did we?
I think so.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe.
And And blessed, I think this is kind of cool too.
Yeah.
And blessed is anyone who takes no offense at me. Oh, blessed if you don't take offense at us too. But it is. It's about God's blessings, and I think even in doubts, even in questions, we really don't know what John was asking when he asks his disciples to go to Jesus.
Yeah.
But even if he was in that moment a little wobbly and did I get this right?
Yeah.
It's okay, because in the answer that Jesus gave, he gave what John or his disciples needed to hear, that the prophecies are being fulfilled in your presence. You're seeing the blind see and the lame walk. The miracles that were prophesied were there, and God's promise was being upheld.
Doesn't she summarize things beautifully?
Oh, thank you. I'd curtsy if I had to stand up.
I think you can still curtsy.
Curtsies, yoga, it's all about liturgical. We're not allowed liturgical dance yet though either.
Oh, that's a good thing. Especially from me. You don't want to see that at all.
We dance with the word.
We do.
There we go. Anyways, until we see each other again, so we'll see some of you on Sunday. And some in the days ahead, somewhere.
Oh, here we go.
No, okay. Hey, did you see that picture of the rainbow that I took?
That was awesome.
Wow. Most stunning thing ever.
I mean, the fact it was so clear and so
and
every color in the rainbow.
On the outside of it was dark, and then inside was like the sky. It was amazing. Anyways, we've gone sideways.
We have.
So we're going to send you off with our blessings, double blessings today. Ooh. That's peace.
I know. Okay. I always do that.
Your peace, my blessing, and my peace as well, I guess. And we'll see you again next time. So take care. God bless. Remember, wear those masks, wash your hands, keep appropriate distance, but be cheerful and joyful and hopeful in the fact that things are opening up and we are moving forward.
We got this.
God's with us.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.